Hi everybody, it's Joe Krug from Finsweet. In this video, we're going over the Finsweet CMS library for Webflow. We're in the live example going over the previous next component. Let's go and create previous and next buttons for your CMS dynamic templates. We're gonna first go and look at this working live. We have project 50 or post 50 or anything that you want in a CMS template. And we will have a previous and a next post based on which template page we're on. So we're on 50, previous would be 49, next would be 51. If I go click on 51, we'll see the previous post is 50 and the next post as 52. And this continuously works. It does not matter which post you're on. We can go to post 10. We're going to see post 9 and post 11. If I were to go to post 1, we're going to see there are no previous posts and post 2 as our next post. We have it all covered. We're going to go over how this works. We'll jump into Designer. We'll look at the important classes. We'll look at how those classes work with the code. And I'm going to try to explain everything to you. We're in Designer. We're going to first go over some of our important classes. We'll start off with Content ID. This is the most important one. You have to understand how this works to really take advantage and totally customize the previous next component. Content ID is how we establish which template page we're on. So we're on project 42 or post 42 or whatever the heck you are talking about inside your CMS template. Content ID in this example has a class of post number. And I'll go right into custom code and I'll show you where that goes. So we have our content ID set to post number. Let's give a zoom in here. Content ID post number. We'll use that class 2 times inside this build. The first time inside our template content. So if I go here, we are binding this text element to the number field inside our CMS collection. And this is a unique value of this template, of this item. You can use something like a number, you can use something like the slug, you can even use a date if all of your dates are unique. Great, so this is our identifier. And now if you go down later on the page, you'll see a full CMS dynamic list on the page. Don't worry, this is going to be hidden on the live site. We're not going to be showing this to the user, completely hidden. We're going to totally optimize it. It's going to be pretty much non-existent. It's just going to be there for our custom code to go and read it. And then we're going to go and find our project 42. Inside this collection list, we have the same post number class. And that is binded to the same CMS field. So let's back up and just see that we're in the previous next collection. That's the template page we're on, the previous next template. So we have this on the template page. We have this collection list on the template page. This collection list is taking information from that same collection, and we have the post number ready for the library to go find. What Content ID is doing is establishing what the base is. So we have all these posts in our collection. We're on post 42. We need to tell the library which post we're on. We're on 42. This is the one we are working with. And that way we can establish what previous should be and what next should be. So in this use case, we're using numbers. Previous is the one right before it, 41. Next is 43. If you were to order your list by date, you can do that also. So you have the sort order here. You can sort order your collection list however you want. It does not matter. So we have smallest to largest. Maybe you want to flip that and go largest to smallest. You can go ahead and do that. And in this case, if we were to reverse that order, we are reversed the order. Let's go down. In this case, we have 42. So previous would be 43 and next would be 41. If you have date, again, you can go order by date. If you have alphabetized, you can go and sort by the letter A through Z. You can order your list however you want, and we're going to find that base, whatever you establish with that content ID, and then take the one previous in the list and take the one next in the list. Excellent. So we are clear on that. And now let's make sure we remove that reverse. We certainly don't want that. That will lead to confusion with numbers. And let's first go into the custom code to see what we are going to look at next. I'll go into page settings of our previous next template, and we'll zoom in here for clarity. Let's look at the next target and the previous target. So we talked about establishing the base with that content ID. Now, where the heck does previous go and where the heck does next go? We're going to put next inside our post next target, and we're going to put previous in our post prev target. These are classes on the page that are applied to divs, and the library is going to essentially copy and paste what it finds in your collection list into these classes. We're not actually copy and pasting in JavaScript. These are not technical JavaScript terms, but it says exactly what's going on here. And it's a really good way to look at how this functionality works. Copying from the hidden list, pasting into these classes. So we remember these, the post next target, post prev target. Let's now go back into Designer. Let us go and see where those classes are. We'll go up here all the way above this list, and we'll see this nice layout showing what our previous and next posts will be. You can see this is sample content, and we even have a message here for you. The previous post goes here, and this will be removed from the page. It's just a sample. So you don't need this element here, this post-prev item. You can remove it if you want. I like to keep it here, just creates the structure. It shows what element is going to go there. We'll get to that in a second. What we care about right now is its parent element. So we have prev next target, and prev next target has an add-on class of the post next target class. That's what we just looked at in custom code, post next target. If I go right here to a sibling, we have post prev target. So the prev next target is a base class for both of these. You can see it's the same. And then we just have this combo class added that's telling the library exactly the previous needs to go in here, the next needs to go in here. Cool. If there is no previous and next, we are going to tell the library, or we're not going to tell the library anything. We're going to show a div that says there's no items. Let's go and see what this is all about. So I'm going to collapse these so we see what's going on here. We have our target. We have our target. We have our post prev next item. We have a post prev next empty. And you can see that this is in both areas here. It's in both of these divs. So we have our post prev item. This is a z index of 1. And then we have this empty, which is z index of nothing. So if we were to go and test this out, let's go do a z index 2. And this is going to allow you to style your empty message however you want. We don't need to define this class anywhere. We don't need to do anything. It's just sitting behind the real content. So if content is copy and pasted to previous and content is copy and pasted to next, you'll never see this empty message. If there is no content to be pasted, and let's go and look at this, perfect. Post 1, there's nothing previous. There's nothing copy and pasted into this box, and therefore the empty message is going to be nice and visible. Let's also go jump to project 100, and in that case, there is no next post because we are only showing 100 items in our collection list below. So we have our previous post at 99. The next post is non-existent, so we are not pasting in that box. The empty message behind is going to show. Awesome. Let's go and remove that. Okay, so also really important to understand here is this message right here on the screen. This is going to be removed. It's just a sample. We are not going to care what the heck is in here. You can put any text. You can even remove this element completely from the page. We only care about the target here. The way that the library will copy and paste is it's going to copy and paste direct from this collection item. Let's go into Navigator and see what that means. We have our post list hidden, which we're going to get to next. And inside the post list hidden, we have our item, of course, and then we have our post prev next item. That's the sample that we were looking at above. This entire element, this child of that dynamic item, is going to be copy and pasted into our target. So we use the content ID, we establish what the base is, we copy the previous item in the list, paste it into the prev target, we take the next item in the list, copy that, and paste it into the next target. Cool. That's what you have to know about this. Definitely make this a link because you're going to want people to click through to the next one, of course. All right, and let's get to that super important class, which is our instance. Every time you use CMS Library, you have to establish your instance. And an instance is a class applied to a CMS collection list. Let me go into here, and we have a collection list wrapper. We have a post prev next row with our important class of post list hidden, and then we have a collection item. The collection list, this middle element of the dynamic list, is going to be our instance, and we'll see post list hidden as our important class in the custom code. And let's go confirm that. I'm going to open up previous next template, and I'm going to see post list hidden. That is the class of our instance. Super important. It's hidden on the page. No one's going to see it, but JavaScript needs to know where that hidden list is. Great. We went over the most important parts. Before we get into load images, I'm going to show you this working with everything hidden. Some of you don't need load images and you're going to want to stop right here. That's fine. Let's go and make this display none. Let's even go and make this display none. Just because we have this content ID doesn't mean the user should go see it. Maybe it's a slug and we wouldn't want the user to see the slug. So no problem. Let's go publish that. We'll wait for the publish, and we're going to see a nice clean page with no collection list on the bottom, with no content ID, and we're just going to see exactly what we want, the previous and the next. And ... as we wait for publishing and for designer to show us if it's published. Maybe it is. Let's go take a check here. So let's go. So we see 15. Cool. All right, we're on 15. We'd expect to see 14 and 16 and check and check. Wonderful. So if I go click on 14, we're not seeing the content ID. We have the 13, we have the 15, and we do not see this collection list. Awesome. That's exactly what we want. Now, some of you may be thinking, but we have this big giant collection list on the page, and this big collection list has really big images. So maybe you have 100 unique images, they're giant, maybe even there's 5 images per collection item. No problem. We've thought of it. We're going to fix this. No problem. We have worked in something called img load. And right now it's commented out. It's actually not working inside the build. But I'm going to uncomment it right now and explain what this is all about. I'm also going to uncomment this piece of CSS. We're going to create a class called project load image. And this is already incorrect. Let's go and change that. Post load image. Post load image is set to display none. You can do this inside custom code head, or you can go and do that right inside Designer. And what it's going to do is optimize how many images are loaded. We don't need to load all 100 items. We just want to load the previous and the next. So that's what this is going to do. Load images, post load image. Great. So we're going to use background images. And the reason we're using the background image is if a background image is set to display none, the browser's not going to load it. If it is an image, so right here we have an image, and we can go and display the same way, there is a chance that some browsers are going to load this image even though the parent collection is hidden. Maybe it happens on mobile, maybe it happens on certain browsers. It is not certain that it will not be loaded on the page. So instead, we're going to use background images, and if a browser sees that the background image is set to display none, that CSS that loads the background image is never going to be displayed. So we are never going to load the image. So let's go ahead right now and just remove this right here, right? We are not going to show any image here. When we go and copy and paste this, we would expect for this to not show any image, right? It's going to copy and paste this item. It's going to paste it in here, and we would expect no image. With this option, with the load images option, we're going to only set the previous images and the next images to display block. So post load image is going to be that add-on class that turns it into display block for only the posts that we want to show images for, these two. So I'll go and publish that. We'll see this working. This is a really nice optimization. Some of you, it really won't matter. Some of you, it may really matter. You may have a lot of images. With this kind of mentality of pasting to a target, you can have any layout. This could be a huge part of the page. It could be a full width part of the page. You may have giant things here. You may have, I don't even know what you're going to have. Maybe some videos. You can go and do this with that as well. So, okay, Designer does not want to show me if it's published. Let's take a look. We're on project 14, and voila, we have images, and we'll see there are no images down here. Cool. So, super efficient. It's loading just this text is really not too heavy at all. We're only going to load the two elements that are copy and pasted into these boxes. Perfect. So remember that you can set these to display none right here. And where is this? Bam. I'm not going to leave it display none inside Designer. I'm going to write like this, leave it as display block. You can do this in Designer. You can also do it inside the head of the page. And that's what I would prefer to do because, hey, maybe I need to go and view this and make some edits. I can do that really easily by just putting this inside the head. Great. So, and let's just do another check here. I just have it in the head. It's not in Designer. We'll see the same exact thing on the published site, and we're also going to see these images loading properly. Nice. All right. Let's go and load this, and let's just go load some other random posts here. Let's do 66. Cool, we got 65, we have 67, we're seeing the images, and again, we are not loading the images here on the list. Wonderful. Okay, we are good to go. This is super awesome. I am really happy that we're able to release this. And if you have any questions about this, if you're unsure about how any of this works, please go check us out on sweetjs.io. We're here to help you implement this for free. If you have questions, please ask. We want to help you.
That's effing sweet.